President Trump today again made clear his desire to take over Greenland, which is a self-governed part of Denmark. Vice President Vance, along with his wife and the president's national security advisor, traveled to the American military base there today to again make their case, which has enraged the governments of Greenland and Denmark and driven another wedge between the U.S. and Europe. Here's Stephanie Sy.
The trip began on a frigid tarmac. J.D. Vance and the Second Lady, Usha Vance, whisked away to a U.S. military base in Greenland's remote northwest.
It's cold as here.
Patuxent Space Base supports U.S. missile defense and space surveillance and was the Vances' only stop. Today, the vice president emphasized benefits of what he called a partnership.
And if the people of Greenland were willing to partner with the United States, and I think that they ultimately will partner with the United States, we could make them much more secure, we could do a lot more protection, and I think they'd fare a lot better economically as well.
What was supposed to be a cultural visit by the vice president, complete with a dog sled race, was in the end heavily scaled back. A cold shoulder, if you will.
We are not for sale.
Amid widespread protests from everyday Greenlanders like Casper Frank Moller, a tour operator in the capital Nuuk.
Everybody's welcome, also the Americans, also Trump, but it needs to be on the circumstance of the Greenlanders that they will accept us as a sovereign state, as Greenland becoming independent, being their own country.
Denmark's prime minister reiterated her country's position.
We would really like to work together with the Americans on defense and security. We want that in Ukraine, we want that in Europe, and of course we also want that when it comes to the High North. But Greenland belongs to the Greenlandic people.
But the vice president made the case that Denmark has treated Greenlanders as second-class citizens.
Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change.
In Washington today, President Trump doubled down on his commitment to gain the territory.
We need Greenland, very importantly, for international security. We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can't.
The Trump administration's moves have become a rallying cry for a unified front in Greenland, which today announced a coalition government of its four main political parties. Jens Frederik Nielsen, the new prime minister, said he hopes to see dialogue between Greenland and the U.S. going forward.
The first thing we do is engage in dialogue with our closest allies. Now we have a government that needs to get to work, and it will start immediately.
From Europe, some pointed words of support. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen congratulated Greenland on the coalition government, writing, "You deserve partners who respect you and treat you as equals." Vance's visit highlights the strategic importance of Greenland and the wider Arctic. U.S. adversaries, including Russia, are watching developments closely. Yesterday, Russian President Vladimir Putin weighed in.
It is deeply mistaken to believe that these are some kind of extravagant talks of the new American administration. Nothing of the sort. We are talking about serious plans on the American side regarding Greenland.
And while the Russians are augmenting forces in the Arctic in response to the Americans, it's the U.S. face-off with a long-held NATO ally, Denmark, that is alarming many. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Stephanie Sy.